Welcome to the Panthers Perspective. Today we are thrilled to have our special guests, Mr. Rombs and Mr. Barnes, the superintendent. And before we dive into any questions, can you all both introduce yourselves a little bit? Starting with you, Mr. Rombs.
Sure. Josh Rombs, and like he said, I'm the principal of Aransas Pass High School.
All right. My name is Glenn Barnes. I am the superintendent of Aransas Pass ISD.
How's y'all's day going so far?
Hey, I've had a great morning. I've had a chance to visit some classrooms.
Gotcha.
It was really funny. I was in a 4th grade class, and as soon as I walked in, these little girls were like, "It's a man! It's a man!" And my little girl said, "Yeah, I think he's a math teacher." I was like, "Yeah, I can be the math teacher today." And so then I've had a chance to visit with some principals about goal setting. So it's been a good morning for me.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, same thing. It's been a busy morning, but good. And Dr. Barnes' morning was great because he got to spend half of it with me. So no, it's been a great day so far.
So by saying same as him, you mean like you also went to a 4th grade classroom and they thought you
No,
were
but
a
I got to
teacher?
go into some classrooms. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, I was in some classrooms earlier today.
So students are kind of the heart of everything we do in the school district because it's mainly y'all's goal to help us learn and grow up and get through everything. So how important do y'all think the decisions y'all make are?
Good one. So I would tell you, for me, I think public education is the foundation of the work we do in the country. I think every day, every class, every kid is an opportunity to change someone's future. So when I look at the work that we do, it's like super, super important. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I mentioned that we're reading a book right now, and it's a guy who was a captain of a ship in the Navy. It was those big, cruisers with all the missiles and everything. And I use the equation that the work that he's doing with those nuclear warheads and all that is like super, super important because of the capabilities. And I feel like the same thing in education because we have that big an impact on children and the future of the country. So it's super, super important work.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so, I mean, let's be honest, the whole reason that we're here is for our students. And so it's not just about getting you an education or, making you smarter, giving you information. It's about making you better human beings, right? And so we're building the future of not just Aransas Pass, but of Texas and the country, and it is, in my opinion, it's the most important work that can be done today.
Yes, sir.
Looking into the future, what is y'all's vision and goals for our campus and schools?
For me, I like to talk, so I'll start off first, Randy. I think for me, like the end goal is that when we start kids in pre-K, and you're looking at it as they move up, the end goal should be for every kid to have options, right? So when you graduate, my coaches say in basketball, we need to be in a 3-point stance. You need to be ready to dribble, pass, or shoot. So I feel like when a kid graduates from Aransas Pass High School, they should be ready either to go to work, go to college, or go to the military. So whatever your next steps are, we want to be sure that you're ready for those next steps.
Gotcha. How about you, Mr.
Yeah, and that's a good point because I think just getting you, like I said before, making you a better human being. So whatever that looks like, if that means going into a trade school, if that means going directly into the workforce, if that means going to college, I mean that is our goal here in AP, is to prepare you for that next step. And again, whatever that looks like. I mean, even being a stay-at-home mom, or going into the military. Anything that your next step would be, we want to be here and we want to stand beside you and get you prepared for that.
A huge part of that is student engagement. So I know it's been pretty good over the past few years. I mean, y'all are here talking with us right now on a student podcast. But how do y'all plan to help further student engagement, if there are any?
I'll go first this time. Well, one of the things that I think creates student engagement is the atmosphere of the school. And so it's something that we talk about as staff a lot. We are a family, and we want you guys, the students, to feel part of that family. And so we could talk about opportunities and things, and of course we're always talking about new opportunities to try and get you guys engaged. But I think it boils down to, with student engagement, kids have to be have that feeling of family and camaraderie where they want to be engaged. And so that's really where my main focus is, on the macro level, is trying to get teachers and staff and students to feel a part of the APHS family.
And I would say from the district level, we really value the surveys that we give students. So we want to hear from you, right? Because a student has a certain perspective that we don't see. So as superintendent, I see school from one level, but as a student, you're in it. So I want to hear from you, how are your classes? Are they engaging? Do we offer enough activities so that you can be involved in things while you're here? Because we know how important that is to have you bound with your friends in school. So for us, it's a lot of listening, right? So we started this year. I know Mr. Rombs already has an advisory, so I started my superintendent advisory this year. We're pushing on our campuses to have more student council activities and adjust with those surveys as well. So we just want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to share that information and then see what we can do to make things better for us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Schools thrive with community support. So what can parents and people get more involved with the schools and campus? And is there anything coming up that you'd like to mention?
Well, we've got tons of opportunities for parents to become engaged, to volunteer their time. And I mean, it goes all the way down from helping out in a concession stand at different various sporting events, all the way to come and be a volunteer on campus and help us make copies or laminate some stuff, or there's always opportunities out there. But we do have several opportunities where we want parents to come in and be engaged with their student. And so that's really, in my opinion, the most important steps for parent engagement. And so, and let me just say, I've worked at several different districts, and so I feel like I can say we really have the best students and parents, and I feel like their engagement is at a high level here, and I'm proud of that. But those college nights that we have coming up, we have a big career fair coming up at the end of October. All of those things, we want to invite parents to come and be a part with their student and interact in those.
Good deal. And so I would echo everything that Mr. Rombs has said. And also for us, I try to work a lot with our community and our business community to try to find opportunities where we can partnership. I've been really pushing to get internships going for our high school kids and trying to find opportunities for you to get some real experience before you graduate. And so for me, it is that outreach to our Rotary, to our Chamber of Commerce, to City Council, our local businesses in the area, and then taking those efforts and then funnel them into our schools because we want them to be a part. I always call it the school community, which is made up of you guys as students, us as administrators and teachers, and then also your families. Like, we all have to work together to get you the best outcomes. And so we're constantly working on that. It's a great part of the job. The activities that the principals just identified are great. And so I would just tell families, just to take that first step. Call your teachers, call your principal, see how they're doing, right? See what you can do to be involved. Get the app. We have an app now. That's that right. We do. We put a lot of information for parents in the community in, so make sure they have the app so they can stay abreast of all the things that are going on with you guys on campus.
Sometimes that app works a little too well.
It's good to hear, man. It's good to hear.
So to kind of pick at something you said earlier, you haven't been with the Aransas past pretty much your entire career.
Correct.
You were here for the senior's second grade year.
Correct.
And then you came back. Do you mind going into why you decided to come back and why you decided to leave?
Well, so I was here for 4 years, and I came here as my very first principal job, and I really enjoyed my time. I got to work with Mr. Bennett, was the high school principal, and I got to be his assistant, and we had a good time. And then I was able to take over the elementary schools when we had a principal retire. But for me leaving, it was more of a personal decision. And of course, anybody who's been here for any length of time knows that was a really difficult time for those of us that were in administration. We lost at his desk, we lost one of my very best friends in David Patterson. And so that was really, it was a very difficult time for me to have to then go in and sit at his desk, which I was able to come in and help with some of that for that semester. But just kind of wanted to get out and experience, some other districts in South Texas, and I was able to do that. And I've been at, some of the best districts, in my opinion. And when I had the opportunity to apply to come back, knowing the students, families, and teachers here in AP, I had gone out and experienced the other, and I wanted to come back home, and it feels like AP is home, and so that's why I decided to come back.
Yes, sir. We definitely think you're back home and don't want you to leave again. And then Mr. Barnes, I know this is your first, technically second year being here as our superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you decide to come over to AP?
All right, so superintendent, it's my first time being a superintendent, right? And so that journey to the superintendency gives you some opportunities to explore some areas of Texas, I'll say it like that. And what attracted me really to AP was it felt like where I grew up. I grew up in a little town in South Louisiana. It's called Franklin. It's right on the coast, just like AP is, a town about this size. It just really felt like home for me. It reminded me a lot of where I grew up, and so I realized it was a great opportunity. I did some research on the district, right? And so you don't want to supply. Saw the type of community, the type of community support that was here, the campuses, the administration, the students, and I felt like this would be a good place for me to settle. And so I applied, and I was afforded the opportunity to become the superintendent. It's been really exciting. It'll be a year in November. I have my honorary birthday party, my first year birthday party, and but it's been good. So, but that was it, man. It just really felt like the place I grew up, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Yes, sir.
So, as y'all both know, schools, districts, they face a lot of challenges. And what do you think the biggest challenges that we might face in these upcoming years, and how do you plan on tackling those challenges?
You want to go first?
Man, yeah, so that is true, man. So I think the biggest challenge for school districts as a whole right now is our public image, right? We have a huge push right now in the state for voucher programs, which is an expansion of private and charter schools. And it seems like in order to make that happen, there's some people in state government who are trying to demonize public schools and make it seem like a place where kids are not being successful, where kids are not being happy, a place where want to give families some options. And I understand you can have options, you can have choice. So I think for us is to bring back the idea of the greatness of public schools. It is a great profession. So I tell young people, if you want to have an impact on people's lives, if you want to make good money, right, public schools is that place. And I think that the professionalism that was a part of when people saw it, my parents talked about their teachers. I mean, they were on that same level as a judge or a high-ranking community person, just being a teacher. And so I think people gravitated to that. And so now I see it as we have to get that back. We have to show all the great things we're doing for kids, and the more we get that message out to let people know we are the first choice. We are the best choice for your kid. I tell people our goal here in Aransas is to be the best district in the Coastal Bend. I want families to know. I tell everybody that, right? That's what we are. And so that's probably the biggest challenge. As we move forward, as parents are going to have these new opportunities to choose where their kids are going to be, we want to work on our image to be sure that people understand public schools are the foundation of the country that we live in and the state. All the great innovations and all the great things that have come out of our country and state were done through people who have gone through public schools. And we're still doing that same work. And we have young people like yourselves who are going to do great things because of public schools. So I think there's a book titled Public School Has an Image Problem. I think that's the thing we have to work on, because the great work is happening, but it's not been exposed like it should.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I think for me, one of the things that I see here in Aransas is we've got potential in what I think is going to be some pretty substantial growth in the next couple of years. And so that could be a challenge. I came from a district that had exponential growth within 2 years, and they didn't have the infrastructure for it. They didn't have the buildings for it, and it was very, very difficult. And so I think we're already in the planning stages of that, so that we don't face those same problems. And so, but with growth comes a lot of opportunities to change things and to move forward. And so I really think that's not a negative by any means. I'm excited about the growth. I think it'll be welcomed, but it'll definitely bring some challenges.
Yes, sir. Well, as much as I would love to keep y'all on, because I'm having a lot of fun with this, we are running out of time. So thank y'all so much for coming out here. I know y'all have very busy schedules, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us, man. And I don't know how I can vote for Randy. I saw his sign out. Give him a little pub on the sign. And but it's great you guys are taking the initiative and doing the things that you're doing. It's going to help your school. It's going to help our school community. And just like I talked about, it's going to show the community how great you guys are as students and all the great things that you're doing in school. So thank you for having me, and anytime that I can support you, I want to be a part of it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that wraps it up. Thank y'all for listening.